psychedelics, like wow, man, or like wow, great medicinal properties, man. Up next on Science Goes to the Movies. Welcome to Science Goes to the Movies, a look at the stories of science and how they change our culture. I'm Faith Saley, and today we're going to look at the very hot topic of psychedelic drugs as medicine. I'm delighted to have Dr. Anthony Bossis, a clinical investigator studying effects of psilocybin on cancer and end-of-life anxiety, as well as a new study on the nature of religious experience with religious leaders. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Hey Faith, glad to be here.
So psilocybin and palliative care research. Yeah. What do those mean basically for a layperson?
So essentially, and there's a long history to this, so psilocybin is a compound found in mushrooms that grow on the earth. Oh. When eaten by humans for millennia, it has a potential in the right set and setting to produce this incredible experience. We call it peak or mystical experience that indigenous cultures use for thousands of years. And this experience can actually mitigate distress, end-of-life distress. So going back to the 1960s and late 50s, there was peer-reviewed serious research with psilocybin and LSD with end-of-life patients, patients suffering with end-of-life distress.
Which is palliative care, right?
So palliative care is the field of treating people with a potential life-threatening disease.
Is psilocybin in every mushroom?
No.
Okay.
Certain species of mushrooms.
Okay.
And
what we like to call shrooms.
On the street term is magic shrooms.
I spend a lot of time on the street, Tony. That's what we call
I know the street lingo, so we call it psilocybin, we call it shrooms if you like for today. But it's quite remarkable that we're doing this research again after decades of dormancy. So it was quite a serious endeavor in the mid-60s. And then things changed because of the 60s counterculture.
We're gonna dig into that.
Okay.
MTV recently rated the top 15 best movie trip scenes ever, with The Big Lebowski, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Trainspotting, and Altered States grabbing spots in the top 10. And there are currently 2 new documentaries out about the real-life LSD movement, one called Orange Sunshine, and the other, The Sunshine Makers. The guys and gals featured in these documentaries all hoped to change the consciousness of the world, but they ended up derailing some serious scientific inquiry. So Tony, back in the 1960s, did the illegal proliferation of psychedelics affect research into medicinal uses?
It did. The research began in the 50s, actually.
Oh.
In the early 50s with LSD, then psilocybin in the late 50s, early 60s. And again, very respected, peer-reviewed medical school research with alcoholism, end-of-life distress. And then in the mid-60s, there was a lot of recreational use in the culture, some of it irresponsible. And in 1970, President Nixon, through an act of Congress, rendered these compounds out of the reach of not only the public, but of clinical research, which was incredible.
Oh.
So you have a promising body of research being halted because of a cultural, recreational use of it. So it's, and for 30 years, nothing really happened, which is quite striking in terms of medical history.
Yeah. So is your work today picking up from those interrupted investigations?
Directly. And we stand upon the shoulders of those early researchers. And we picked up our study, UCLA, Johns Hopkins, are picking up directly from the earlier research. With the same populations, could these incredible states of consciousness that we'll talk about today help healing people who are dying? It's a direct follow-up of those early studies.
Was there an official presidential lift of the ban? I mean, like, when were you allowed to study again?
It's a good question. It's still Schedule 1, meaning there's no medical or research use. So we're on these FDA-approved controlled studies to evaluate the safety and efficacy of these medicines. So it's still clinical trials. If they go well, we'll see what happens down the road.
In this documentary, when Timothy Leary talks about psychedelic research, he's really self-indulgent, and that is very different than your research. How can psilocybin reduce anxiety for these cancer patients?
It's a great question. So, as most people know, end of life can be profoundly anxiety-producing, right?
For everybody involved.
Right. But they're all good deaths. It's a strange combination of words, good death, but it's a word we use in palliative care.
Oh.
I mean, the goal is, can we die away with integrity and meaning-making and a sense of completion and surrounded by people we love and we care about, and those deaths are possible. And that's an objective of palliative care and of hospice care. But one of the hardest parts of palliative care is the emotional angst, the existential and spiritual distress that we can go through. We're better at pain control and chemotherapies, but it's hard to kind of address that incredible fear about dying. So these experiences, called a mystical experience or peak experience, produce senses of oneness, of incredible positive emotions like love, a sense of personal transcendence. So there's a number of incredible shifts that occur in consciousness that appear to be directly related to mitigating the anxiety about dying. And so people accept their dying or their end of life with more integrity and acceptance, which is an incredible thing for a doctor to see.
You're saying this kind of acceptance comes from psilocybin?
Not from the psilocybin per se, but from the experience it produces.
Let's stop there. What is psilocybin before we get into what it does?
Psilocybin is a compound that's found in many species of mushrooms that grow on the earth that when eaten, we don't know much about the neurochemistry, but we know it acts upon serotonergic neurochemical pathways in the brain that produces this shift in consciousness for about 3 or 4 hours, where there's really an altered state that allows people to have this incredible shift in awareness, and they report incredible spiritual experiences, heart openings, so to speak. It's quite stunning. So to see someone come into the room and leave the study a day or two later with their anxiety about death profoundly mitigated is something for a palliative care person to see.
Yes. How does the chemical interact with the brain to bring on this sense of oneness?
Well, we know it's serotonergically activated.
So I hear the root word serotonin in there. A lot of people know that that's like a feel-good chemical.
That's a neurochemical in the brain. But the neuroscience is really in infancy. It's really in its infancy. And I'm not sure, we'll see where it goes, but we do know it produces this incredible shift in consciousness. So what's interesting to me is not just the neuroscience, but the phenomenology of these states of awareness. It appears humans are wired for meaning. Because people have these experiences with or without these medicines. I mean, for millennia, saints and mystics and poets and everyday people have had peak or numinous or mystical experiences, transcendent experiences, right? It's a basic part of human consciousness. These medicines seem to reliably promote that in a research setting, which is incredible to measure this now and evaluate it in a setting when for millennia it happened spontaneously as well.
Yeah, it almost feels like cheating your way there for people who maybe assiduously meditate to try to achieve that transcendence. It's like you could take this drug and get there.
It's a great question because some people, some theologians, there's a debate. So if it happens spontaneously or with the medicine, is there a difference in that? And it's a fair conversation. Walter States, a very famous scholar, said regarding these medicines promoting these experiences, it's not a matter of being similar to a mystical experience, it is a mystical experience. So some would say it's the same result, the avenue doesn't matter. Others would say, well, it matters how it happens. But it's a great spiritual, theological question.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing about these medicines, remarkable things, you take it once. So most medicines you take, Prozac, Zoloft, your blood pressure medicine, whatever,
it wears
people
off.
are on, the desired effects occur while you're on the medicine. Take the medicine daily to continue the desired effects. These medicines people take once. In our study with cancer patients, they took it once in a very controlled, interpersonally supported setting. And the drug's out of their system in a few hours. So the drug's almost, in a way, it's not even a drug study in some ways. It's the experience it promotes, this kind of innate human experience of consciousness that it kind of reliably triggers. That's the transformative piece. That's the healing piece.
So the chemical is gone.
It's gone.
The sensation remains forever?
The altered state dissipates in about 3 or 4 hours, and they go home that night back in ordinary consciousness. But the memories and the effects of it could be life-changing, ongoing.
I'm sorry, but you know this from working on all sorts of people, or you know that this from working on people who die shortly thereafter? Because I'm wondering if you give this to somebody who's not dying and is maybe an angry person, could it change the way that person relates to other human beings for the rest of his life?
So it's a great question. There were studies at Hopkins recently, Johns Hopkins, looking at healthy people who had this, and they're being tracked. And they do report months and years afterwards that they do sustain these effects.
The effects being that they have this sense of connectedness with others?
Perfect. Connectiveness.
Everybody needs to have this right now.
Unity, a sense of transcendence. So the transcendence is a very important one, because if you're dying, when we're dying, to have the experience that I'm not my body's failing, but I'm something different, I'm something eternal. So people come out of this experience and report, I'm not just the body, there's something more enduring of who I am, or there's something more complex about consciousness. Maybe it's even outside biology consciousness. And so the body's failing, but I'm not the body. So to not identify with our failing bodies is a gift for someone who's dying.
And you find that people say the same iterations of the same thing over and over?
Which is remarkable. There are varied experiences, but there is this common, mystic core that we speak about, that for millennia, mystics speak about this, and William James wrote about it, and Carl Jung, and, it's been around, it's part of human civilization, these foundational mystic core of religion. And people speak that way. There was a show once where they called the accidental mystics, because people in our study who weren't religious come out speaking with the language of everything's connected, we're connected. I felt a vibrant sense of love and acceptance. I was more accepting of the life cycle ending. I could appreciate my moment my living in the moment versus fear of death. And they're meaning-making compounds. They're meaning-making experiences.
I know from reading your paper that that psychedelic, literally translated from Greek, means mind-revealing.
Mind-revealing, mind-manifesting, kind of an awkward, clumsy set of words, but yeah.
Do psychedelics make free thinkers out of every user the way the Orange Sunshine guys hoped it would?
I don't think every user, and there's an important part to line out here, that set and setting, as we call it, matters tremendously. How we take the medicine. So in these cases, they're controlled studies. We're not advocating people use this recreationally. And for thousands of years, they were done in a ritualistic setting. So set who the person is. We screen people very carefully. Setting where it's done.
How do you screen them?
We screen for medical and psychiatric exclusionary criteria, so they're really appropriate and safe to have the medicine. Where it's done, this is in a very safe, supportive, living room-like setting with 2 doctors there the entire time. They wear eye shades, they wear headphones, and they go into the experience.
Are you sitting there watching this?
I'm sitting watching the entire time for 8-9 hours.
What does it look like?
You see a person, you don't see much. You see a person lying down, eye shades, headphones, they are coverage to go into the experience, to accept the unfolding moment-to-moment changes.
Do their faces make any reaction?
You see people crying. They will talk, this is incredible, or this is difficult. There are difficult stretches. These are people at the end of life, so there could be dark experiences about existence.
Are they narrating them in some way? Are they conscious you're there and they're sort of
They
telling
are.
you what
That's the remarkable part. So some of the participants' fear is that I'll be kind of cut off from this consensus reality, and I'm frightened of that. And there is a profound shift in how they experience existence and reality and consciousness, but they're also aware, like we're right there. And we're offering assurance if they need it throughout.
How do you offer assurance? You hold a hand?
We could hold their hands if they wanted to hold our hand. We check in periodically, everything okay. And the remarkable thing with these kinds of parameters, there are no serious adverse effects. We've had 0 serious adverse effects. And intention matters while you're doing these medicines. Versus recreational, you just take it for maybe to go to a rave or something. It's very different. So this is the goal of these studies, to assess safety and efficacy. And so far, we're achieving safety parameters securely, and we're also showing that they're effective in reducing depression and anxiety in people with cancer, which is difficult to achieve in psycho-oncology.
And when you're in the room with someone who is presumably going to die, sure. Delivering this treatment, are they with loved ones as well, or is it just you and another doctor?
So for the study, there's a 4-week preparation period. And the day of the dosing of the medicine, it's just them and 2 guides, two doctors. They spend about 6-7 hours on this lovely living room-like setting on a couch, headphones playing soft classical music, eye shades to go into the experience and block out this consensus reality, and then they emerge from that state back into normative consciousness, and then their loved ones come in and pick them up and they go home that night. So they're not there with them in their room, but they meet them later.
Are you filming all this?
We're not filming it, but we're taking very good notes.
In the movies, when someone takes a psychedelic trip, it's like all freewheeling and cartwheels.
Right.
How does that differ from the kind of dosing that you do in your studies?
Well, the movies. So, in the studies, they're very controlled doses and they're very tailored to the person. They're very safe. These are government-approved studies. In the movies, people take different doses.
In the movies that we see, are people probably taking larger doses than
They
you would
could
ever
be,
give
they could
somebody?
not be. People, people get usually wise to how much to take to achieve the desired effect.
How is the dose delivered?
They eat it. It's a pill. So mushrooms are actually fungi that grow on the planet, but in these studies, the compound psilocybin is synthesized into a powder that's made into a tablet, a capsule, and they eat the capsule. They take the capsule at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then by 10 o'clock they're lying down, and then within a short period of time the effects begin to occur, which is just remarkable to see. And people haven't had these experiences before, and they're appropriately apprehensive of what will happen. And one of the things that I've been just struck by, we have people, people in their 60s and saying things like, once it began, I knew I was safe, I can trust this. And so we tell them to trust themselves, trust their wisdom, trust the medicine, trust us. And there's something about the trust and rapport that really promotes safety. And but it seems, again, we're wired for meaning. There's something about consciousness and our brains that seem to be wired for these incredible experiences that have been written about for millennia. And so these compounds are essentially tools to better understand that. What is consciousness? Where is your consciousness? Is it generated by your brain, or is it outside?
Right.
So,
what is existential distress, and how does it impede medical treatment?
That's an important question. So, as many of us approach death, the distress can be existential in the sense, or psychospiritual. I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid of going into nothingness. I'm afraid of leaving this planet, my friends, my loved ones. It evokes a tremendous fear for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many psychologists and scholars and philosophers, and I support this, that the fear of death is probably one of the most primal fears humans face. And people like Ernest Becker, in his very famous book, The Denial of Death, would say that most of our culture, most of what we do is a way to buffer against that incredible fear. So that's a normative fear to have. But it seems, and we've shown in this one study we just completed, that these experiences seem to mitigate, have mitigated and reduced depression and anxiety, and enhanced well-being through this incredible connectivity, transcendence. People say things like, well, when I pass away, somehow it continues in consciousness, or I'm aware of a very different realm, or even if I die and that's it, I accept the cycles of life. That's part of the unfolding of humanity. It's quite striking to hear. Now, they all don't have the same experience. Some have less of that than others. But the greater the mystical experience has been correlated with the greater reduction in depression, anxiety, and distress.
Has working around this changed the way you relate to your eventual death?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I've worked in palliative care for a while, and to see these experiences shows me as a person, not just a scientist, that we can die good deaths, which we knew already from our field. People have good deaths all the time, even without these medicines. Good deaths are achievable. But to hear them report what they experience, to hear them talk about what's important, which you and I both know what's important in life, love and connectivity and being with people and making meaning, not how much money you pull in. And I mean, at the end, those are the things that matter. So that it triggers that in a profound way is a teachable thing to me as a person. So in many ways, these patients have been teachers to us in the studies, and we're quite changed by it. I know I am.
As part of your research, you're also working with an array of religious leaders. You're kind of using psilocybin to map out the nature of the shared mystical core experience of religion?
That sounds great.
It's what you do.
What I'm doing?
It does sound great. I mean,
like that.
What are the objectives here?
So this is really remarkable. So we've been very lucky to be doing this. I mean, the FDA has been very supportive of these research trials, and so since these experiences can be described in a spiritual way, the religious experience found that the mystic core of all religions actually at the foundation of most religions, all religions, is this mystic core, this similar mystic common ground. Aldous Huxley called it the perennial philosophy. And it can be described scientifically as well, but there is a religious language. So since it is spiritual in nature, why not bring in religious professionals, so to speak, right, who spent their careers pursuing, trying to understand these experiences, to have the experience. This builds upon a study from 1962 in Boston that Houston Smith, the very famous religious scholar, took part in, where they were giving psilocybin to theology students, and they found out that it mirrored the mystical experiences found that occurred naturally throughout millennia by mystics. So we're now recruiting priests and rabbis and Buddhist roshis and various traditions to come to the study, be screened, again, safe, supportive, interpersonal setting, have psilocybin, hopefully have a mystical or peak experience, and then describe it and write about it and answer a slew of research questions. So they're helping us, in a way, understand the landscape of these experiences. How do they describe them? They're not a clinical population. We're not trying to heal anything. These are healthy people. But they're helping kind of map out this incredible state of consciousness. So it's really wonderful.
You are witnessing these? Religious leaders do this as well? Go through
So same setup, a month of preparation, lie on the couch, headphones, sitting there watching them take the medicine, and then being with them, reassuring them, being there in case they need us during the experience, in the same way we were with the cancer patients.
And do the religious leaders who come in and have psilocybin have anything different to say than your average, perhaps even non-religious person?
That's remarkable. It's the same essence, what's important, right? Meaning and love and transcendence. But obviously, if they have a more nuanced vocabulary, vernacular, than maybe a person who doesn't study religion. I mean, which is why they're in the study.
Is a priest seeing Jesus and talking about Jesus?
Well, we're going to find out. So the study's still ongoing, so I can't report the results yet. But come on, give us something.
I mean, can you tell us anything specific? You don't have to tell us who said it.
I could say clergy people are experiencing profound senses of love, profound transcendent experiences. And they're different, and some are less transcendent, right? So everyone isn't the same experience. But they have this incredible nuanced way of describing this stuff. So their language is different from maybe a layperson.
In what
We're all
way?
human. Well, a layperson may not describe the experience in biblical or a certain scripture or a Buddhist phenomenology, but in the sense, we're all the same ultimately. So things like love and connectivity and unity and what's important in life, and that language is the same. So, all religion had a mystic foundation, so to see these leaders come in and reconnect to that mystic foundation is extraordinary. And I feel very lucky to be doing this, as you can imagine.
This leads me to a question, and I assure you I'm not tripping when I ask it. All over these movies that we're talking about and what you do, there's this experience of oneness repeated.
Right.
If the experience of oneness is something that can be consistently conjured or induced in a lab setting, does that mean that that oneness with a capital O exists, whether you help induce it or not? That it is there?
Well, one of my favorite lines, I'll answer that, is that's above my pay grade, right? How do I know? But people do report those experiences of oneness, not just in the study, but throughout history. Again, I come back to the foundation of religions and philosophical traditions, that sense of oneness. So people in these studies do report feeling a sense of oneness. There's one essence, one unfolding consciousness. Now, I think what you're implying is that, does that prove that that's there? Is it just a subjective experience triggered by our brain chemistry, but it's not really there? Well, there you go. You tell me. Right?
What do you think?
How can I answer that? I'd like to believe as a human that there's something beyond this physical body, that there is that unfolding consciousness, that that oneness that is beyond just our individual state of awareness. But, I'm open.
Considering the amazing things that you've borne witness to in using psychedelics, how do you feel about the way psychedelics are most often portrayed in film and TV?
Not too good, because there are some positive and appropriate reflections of it, but the 1960s gets condensed to this kind of fractal groovy visual
Yeah,
imagery.
man. Yeah.
And yes, it does enhance aesthetics. In our study, people do report the music sounding wonderful and sometimes having remarkable visuals. But those aren't that meaning-making. They feel great, and I'm a musician, so I love good music. But that's not going to change it as much as these meaning-making connectivity to these incredibly opening experiences. So I think they make it look a little silly sometimes, and reckless, and just pure hedonism without the meaning-making part. And that's a problem. I mean, these are really meaning-making, you know, some people call them sacraments, but they're chemicals, and that you know, why they're here, again, above my pay grade. Why do they grow in the earth? Incredible, right? But when humans ingest them, this thing happens. And so to reduce it to just running around dancing, which I understand feels good, kind of minimizes as someone said, the sacredness of it, the holiness of it. Houston Smith is a very famous religious scholar, just passed away. He spoke often about that the genuine peace is this experience, not just right? So yeah, I think some have been positive, but the counterculture, the way it's portrayed is sometimes, unfortunately, missing the mark.
Thank you so much for taking the ineffable and making it a little bit understandable to us. This is fascinating.
Well, it's great to be here, and it's thank you for joining me and trying to make it describable.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all we have time for today. Whatever we can't fit into this half hour, we will share on our Science Goes to the Movies Facebook page. And if you want to watch past episodes, check us out at www.cuny.tv under the Science tab, or download our app to keep up with everything related to Science Goes to the Movies all in one place.